Alright, let's split open this sporty tank. We're going to be getting it ready to narrow it. I'm going to just show you the steps that I use to open this thing up and get it set up for narrowing the cleanest way I've found. This helps a little, but as you can see by my breath, it is pretty damn cold in my shop right now. Alright, we're starting with a stock sporty tank, 57 to 78, 2.4 gallons. Alright, what we're going to start out doing is cutting around the perimeter of the tank as close to the bottom pinch weld as possible to separate the bottom. Alright, after you cut all along the perimeter, you gotta check in a couple spots, but most of the time the tunnel is just gonna be able to get just separated. Sometimes you'll find a couple spots at the back where there's a lot more welding that could have penetrated a little bit more. So sometimes you have to just check that out and cut a little bit more, or you can just kind of flex it back and forth a little bit, it'll break the weld. Alright, there you go. Bottom came right out nice and clean. What we're going to do next is we're going to get inside the tank with a flap wheel and take off the pinch weld that's holding the fuel filler in so that we can separate it from the tank. Alright, once you're through the weld, just put it on a flat surface. Just pop up the filler. Next step will be tracing a pattern so that we can weld a little patch panel in here. Before we trace and make a patch pattern for the filler area, we're going to flap wheel the little ridge from the stamping process of the factory on the inside once you remove the fuel filler neck. Alright, that's all taken down. Now I'm just going to hit it with a half-round file on the inside of the hole, just to get through any of the area that's left a little bit thin from the stamping process. Alright, sheet metal that this tank is made out of is close to 18 gauge. If you have 18 gauge sheet metal, that is what we're going to use to make a patch panel for the filler area. If not, a lot of times what I use is some 16 gauge, and when I weld it, I leave it proud of the surface so that I just grind that down. Alright, I roughed out a section of 16 gauge steel for the patch panel. I'm going to hit it up with a little bit of steel blue so that I can scribe a nice clean line on it. And let that dry. Alright, we'll put the patch panel on the inside of the tank and scribe a pattern on it from the outside of the tank through the filler hole. You're going to put it in, make sure it's nice and flat. Since the hole probably isn't perfectly round, I'll usually mark a little notch right there at 12 o'clock. Match it up with one on the tank. And that's the pattern we're going to cut out. Alright, we've got the patch panel all trimmed up. We'll line up the 12 o'clock marks, see the fit, and it slides right in there. We'll clean off the die-chem blue and get ready to TIG up. we got the patch panel welded in. We're going to get ready to get the bottom of the tank nice and flat so that we can lay out some lines to cut the tank for narrowing. Alright, we got some Dychem blue sprayed on the bottom right here, and I've just got a height gauge right here with a scribe in it that I'm going to scribe a nice flat line off a flat surface here so that we can get a nice even bottom edge. Alright, got the bottom nice and flat. Got some steel blue sprayed up the center of the tank to get ready for some layout lines. And this tank is actually going to be close to about 8 inches wide once we narrow it. And right now at its widest point we're looking at just over 9 1/4. So we're going to take about 1 1/4 inches out of this just as a rough measurement. Alright, we just got a simple, cheesy little $10 laser that we have clamped in a vise up on a flat surface. I got a machinist square just to make sure that it is sitting, the laser plane is actually sitting at 90 degrees. And we get ready to just throw our tank down that line and create a center cut line on the tank. Alright, it's not super easy to see up the whole tank, but there is a laser line down the center of the tank that we're going to scribe some marks in the steel blue. If I hold my hand here, you can see how the line does run up at least 3/4 of the tank, and then we'll flip it around and get the rest of the line. Alright, now we got a center line scribed in, nice dotted line. We're just going to use the angle grinder with the cutting disc to separate the tank directly in half. Alright, here we go. We have 2 halves of the tank now. We're going to set up the height gauge again with the scribe in it so that we can take the 1 1/4 inches out of it to narrow the tank. Alright, we got the 2 trimmed up halves so you get an idea what the tank's going to look like when it's welded up.